Hey, what's up, everybody? Damian and DEO, D&D back again. I try to keep a straight face whenever I do the intros, but yet DEO always makes me laugh. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
So,
as Mark Henry once said, that's what I do.
That's what you do. Yes, you make me laugh, and I'm trying to keep a straight face. But I digress. Everybody, this is Damian and DEO, as I just stated. Normally, Friday nights is the nights we do random talk, shoot the shit, all that stuff, or the After Dark episode. But we moved it up today because we have plans tomorrow, so we're doing it today.
Yes,
so,
my gorgeous PhD having professor of a girlfriend is going. It's her birthday, so spending time with her.
Yeah, so getting those brownie points with the girlfriend, that's completely okay. That is, I don't expect anything less of you, to be quite honest. And from what he's described her as, he better not miss a birthday. Just putting it out there. Find the show as always on youtube.com. Thank you to all the new subscribers based on my little video I posted yesterday. The Damian G Show on Instagram, as well as Damian G347 for my personal Instagram, as well as Twitter. ImjustDEO on Twitter and Instagram, and DEO.shoots. Now that we got that out of the way, random After Dark Thursday. So full disclosure, fans, off air, we were talking about a lot of random shit. We didn't know what we really wanted to discuss because I just got off doing a wrestling podcast with Big Gold Belt Media, and I was still thinking about Dark Side of the Ring, all the random prices people charge for Cameo, which I find to be random, and something I discovered earlier this week was online marketers, those guru types you see on YouTube and the internet. They are actually buying cameos from famous people to make it seem like they are in cahoots with those people to boost their sales. And I'm going to be honest, that's grimy as fuck.
Grimy as fuck, yeah.
On a charlatan point of view, it makes a lot of sense. On a carny point of view, sleight of hand, perceived value, I get it. But just buying cameos just to drum up your business in a false way just doesn't sit well with me. So that's one thing I was thinking about today. Another thing I was thinking about, and we didn't talk about this deal, I'm getting a lot of MLMs reaching out to me on social media. Multi-level marketing companies, otherwise
like
legalized pyramid
schemes. Yeah,
legalized pyramid schemes.
It's still a pyramid scheme. Fuck out of here. Like it's not. You can put
a trapezoid, a circle, a rectangle.
You can put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. I mean,
Like I kid you not. I checked my Hotmail account once a day, and in the junk file,
you said a Hotmail account.
It's still on my resume, bro.
I know, but still a Hotmail account. That is.
I am that old.
I couldn't log into my old Hotmail if I wanted to. I'm pretty sure that thing has probably been hacked ad nauseum at this point. Like I've got my long-standing email addresses that I've had for well over whenever Gmail first came about. I've had the one that's my first name dot my last name at Gmail. I've had that for a long time. I had one before that, which was back in the days when we used to put like weird and stupid words and shit as our screen names and
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I couldn't log into my Hotmail if I wanted to. Like that's wow.
What was your screen name?
Ooh.
Are you at liberty to say what your screen name was?
Back in the day, it was like ATL something. I don't remember. It was something 714. I always used my birthday as my last 3 digits of my for my screen names and shit. But
July 14th, okay.
Bastille Day. Also for you like pro wrestling, like Puro pro wrestling fans, I also share a birthday with Kazushi Sakuraba.
I don't think I know them.
You know Sakuraba. You do.
Okay.
He had a match with Minoru Suzuki, I believe, a couple years back. He was a professional wrestler that became very big in mixed martial arts in the days of Pride FC. For those of you that don't know what Pride FC was, Pride FC, or Pride Fighting Championship, was it was Japan's answer to the UFC. Actually, I think it might have actually been around. No, because UFC started, then Pride started. But it was spectacle, like fucking wild shit. You had, so you know how there's like how big New Japan is now. Pride was that in the late 90s, early 2000s. That's where a lot of the people in MMA became legends, because Japan has a very weird way of booking things. They like a spectacle.
Right.
They like David versus Goliath. Like they had small dudes that knew how to fight, fighting gigantic people that didn't know how to fight. So his name was Giant Silva, or is Giant Silva? I think he's still alive.
I know who that is.
Yeah, because he was in the WWE for.
He was one of the oddities, wasn't he?
He was one of the oddities in WWE World Wrestling. He was, so he was Giant Silva. Giving names. Yeah, so he was Giant Silva, and then he was released in like 1999 because he sucked at fucking pro wrestling. But
that whole organization sucked. That whole group sucked.
That whole group was ass. But you would have like somebody like him who doesn't know how to fight, and honestly, it was a health hazard for him to actually fight, because when you have people that large, their bodies are not built to withstand a lot of aerobic exercise and such. All right. Bones tend to be more fragile at like certain points of the body, just from the sheer amount of weight that tends to be on them. He was, or he is rather, 7'3" at his peak. Was probably over about 400 pounds. That's a lot of weight.
That's a
lot of weight. Probably, we'll say he's probably in the 300s. Just because they like to bluff on people's weight. But
of course,
you had legitimate stuff like Fedor Emelianenko versus Mirko Cro Cop, which are two legends in mixed martial arts. But then you also had Minawa Man. Some of you that watch Japanese professional wrestling may know who he is, because he's also a pro wrestler over there that has some of what of a name. But Sakuraba was one of the people back in the day. You know anything about mixed martial arts? The Gracie family,
yes,
with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Without the Gracie family, there is no UFC. So the Gracie family, Japanese Jiu-Jitsu was brought to Brazil, and Brazil had this weird, like a contract type thing that they had with Japan, where like people could move from Japan to Brazil. So you have like these pockets of people in Brazil that are of Japanese and Brazilian descent. One of the champions, former champion of the UFC light heavyweight, Lyoto Machida, was one of them. But so Jiu-Jitsu was brought to Brazil, and then the Gracie family then adapted it and turned it into what it is today in Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And they went on to they want to prove that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is the greatest mixed martial art of all time. So they would start to do fights with other styles and stuff. Then they had fights, and once they came to America, they would essentially have these no holds barred fights in people's garages and shit like that, which then led to full scale mixed martial arts eventually as we know it now.
Okay.
Now, Royce Gracie was one of the first people, one of the first stars of the UFC. He won the first couple of tournaments and such. And, you know, he was a small dude that was beating these like gigantic muscle bound Ken Shamrock types. And then, you know, in Japan, he fought Sakuraba, and Sakuraba literally spanked him during the match. Like he made Hoist Gracie look foolish. And then the Gracie family now had a grudge against Kazushi Sakuraba. And they kept on sending family member after family member after family member to beat him. And they kept losing over and over and over and over again. It wasn't until Kazushi Sakuraba was well into his 40s, being held together by tape and fueled by cigarettes and alcohol. They had to get somebody that was in their 20s to beat up this man that had been in countless wars within mixed martial arts, was also a pro wrestler. So his body was a wreck by the time. So it took them close to 20 years to finally beat this man. Like, it's crazy. So so Kazushi Sakuraba, he is dope. Let's see.
This is fascinating for me on one end, where I constantly, as a newer mixed martial arts fan, all I heard about was the Gracie family when I was younger.
Yeah,
that's all I heard about. So hearing this, that they weren't the innovators of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as much as people make them out to be, it's quite fascinating.
There's so many splits within the family as well. It's like they are like the NOI family of mixed martial arts.
Got it.
There's a Gracie everywhere. Like in Georgia, it's like it's not getting dirty.
Not yet, Eugene. Not yet.
Not yet. Maybe a little bit later.
Give it like 5 minutes.
You get like, so where I live in Marietta, or used to live in Marietta, Georgia. But there's a large Brazilian population in the Metro Atlanta area.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's like a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu school like every couple blocks almost in some places. And like, it gets to be pretty ridiculous. But Sakuraba, let's see if I can find like a decent picture of him. Because
he's still alive. I forgot if you mentioned that.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Okay.
He had a dope match with Shibata a couple years ago.
The what ifs with Shibata.
Yeah, it's a bad look. Like, and I know folks love hard style, strong style shit, but it's not good for you. It's not good for
your health.
It's not good for your health. It's not good for, like, even as fans, like with deathmatch stuff, like, you know, cool, y'all like it, it's whatever. But like, if you don't care about the well-being of these people, then I can't take you seriously.
Right. If you just want them to beat themselves up for your entertainment, then Eugene is asking you, who is on your MMA Mount Rushmore?
MMA Mount Rushmore. Ooh, that is a good question. George St. Pierre.
Is BJ Penn on your Mount Rushmore?
No.
Okay.
BJ Penn is, for one major reason, and BJ Penn does not like to work. He didn't like to work. He never liked to put the work in. His nickname was the Prodigy, and that's true. He was like, there's a video of him where he's sitting crisscross applesauce, because I don't say Indian style anymore because that's quite offensive.
Yes.
Where he just lifts his leg up and starts like scratching his ear with his toe.
Oh.
He had insane flexibility, like insane flexibility. Was naturally gifted. Like, he just understood fighting in a way that most people don't. He was just built different. He didn't get cut, which is hard to do in mixed martial arts, to like not get cut. He wouldn't, like he would be in wars with people, wouldn't swell up, wouldn't like, and he would just be getting tagged up and nothing would happen. But he did not like to work. So he had a ceiling and he kept hitting that ceiling. There was one point where he moved past the ceiling, and that's because he was working with Marv Marinovich. And if you guys, any of you football fans, know who the Marinovich brothers are,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, literal mad scientists when it comes to the human body.
Mm-hmm.
They turned him into a souped up version of himself, and he did not like them. He didn't like being pushed because he surrounds himself with a bunch of yes men, which are his relatives. So that's why he's not on my Mount Rushmore, because he kept on hitting the ceiling and never did what he needed. George St. Pierre, up there. That would be a tough one because context with a lot of people, like, because like the people that are, even like when you think about like who's on Mount Rushmore, it's like, are these really the most important presidents? No.
Right.
You know, so it's like, I would just have to put like my favorites. John Jones is one of them. He is one of the, hands down, one of the best mixed martial artists to ever step foot in any sort of arena. It's not even close. Probably Anderson Silva as well.
So that's three.
That's three.
Is Amanda Nunes on your Mount Rushmore?
No.
Okay.
She is the greatest women's mixed martial artist of all time, but she's not on Mount Rushmore because she, like, it would be hard to put her but not put Ronda Rousey on. It just it's not like Ronda Rousey, as much as I dislike her as a person. If it wasn't for her, women's mixed martial arts would have never gotten to be on the main stage. It wouldn't have. Like Dana White was on video record saying he's never going to have women in the UFC. And Ronda Rousey basically made him because she was undeniable in her appeal, what she was doing in the cage. Like, she went on a run that is crazy. Like, when you armbar every single person, almost every single one, either armbar or knock them out for like a good solid 3 years, 4 years before she lost. Like, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. And she was beating some of these people in like 10 seconds and shit.
Right.
So Mount Rushmore though.
So you got two more spots.
I'd put Antonio Inoki on it.
Do we count him?
Yeah, because he was in the first legitimate modern day mixed martial arts match, and that was against Muhammad Ali. So like he was.
No, you're right. That is a mixed martial arts event.
That is a mixed martial arts match. So plus the whole trying to like bridge the gap between pro wrestling and mixed martial arts. I'd put him in my Mount Rushmore probably. And I mean, I'd be hard pressed to not put Hoist Gracie, just because like he was that was like the first time that we saw, these big muscle bound beach dudes can't beat everybody that they want. And like, I know people are gonna put Fedor. I wasn't super impressed with Fedor's record, honestly, for a long period of time. Like, I'd have to like really sit down and think about it for a while. But yeah, that's about it. But favorite comic book storyline. Ooh.
Oh, see, for me, like, if we're gonna do that, if we're just gonna say my personal favorite, not that it was the best, not that it was the greatest, but my personal favorite comic book storyline. Part of me wants to say the Infinity Gauntlet, but it's not. Because I grew up in an age where comic books were slowly descending, and thusly Marvel had to sell the film rights to a lot of properties. Maximum Carnage. Because if anyone who knows me knows that I am a huge Venom and Carnage fan. I loved Venom and Carnage whenever I go to Comic-Con. Eugene, you've seen me literally dressed up as a Spider-Man character. So at a Comic-Con. So for me, that is when I found comic books. Right around that time, the Mark Bagley drawn Amazing Spider-Man. Finding out about Carnage, the fact that this dude legitimately kills people with no remorse in a comic book.
Yep.
Had me thinking, oh, because at least Venom had a weird moral conundrum code of I only kill if it's my own survival, if it's necessary, or if you're just evil. Carnage was indiscriminate. Yep. And both of these characters, Venom and Carnage, were stronger than our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Yep. So you literally had to call the gang war to bring in to fight against Carnage and company. So it had Carnage, Shriek, Demogoblin.
Wow, Demogoblin. I haven't heard that in a minute.
And then it was oh my god, the Spider-Man clone that was I keep
Ben
forgetting
Reilly?
his name. No,
not Ben Reilly.
Doppelganger.
Doppelganger. Yeah. I used to fucking love Doppelganger. Like, there's just the look of Doppelganger was awesome to me.
Like, it was a fanged Spider-Man with barbed wire webbing and just ravenous
and like hella arms and shit. It was
like an actual arachnid, and it was great. But that for me, that comic book storyline, because I'm trying to remember so Spider-Man had to bring in at various points Morbius, Black Cat, who almost dies.
Yep.
Night Watch, which was the ripoff of Spawn. Deathlock.
Yes.
Iron Fist.
Yeah, he had to bring everybody in. Like, there was
Firestar, Captain America.
Right.
Venom had to swap sides. Cloak and Dagger, with Dagger dying midway through the story. Like, and that's just to name a few. And at the end, the freaking Avengers have to, kind of do what they do.
And we're gonna have to talk about like characters that can wash Captain America after this too.
We want to talk about like people also. Batman can take anyone in the comic universe. Because
I can rant about that shit for hours, honestly.
Right.
But
so for me, that was my favorite comic book storyline, because one, I had never seen a 14-issue crossover.
Right.
First time. I was a teenager. I bought every single edition. I bought the trade paperback version of it. And I just love Carnage and Venom. And seeing Venom on the side of good, a close second would be the Lethal Protector storyline.
So that's my favorite. Lethal Protector is my favorite, because seeing him grapple with this newfound humanity, almost, I guess you'd say. Yes. Yes, Eugene's right. Kane. That's who it was. Like, it is. That was dope as hell to me as a kid. Plus, that has some of the most classic comic book like cover art of all time, period. Like, that is one of it's just oh my god, it's so good. It is just so goddamn good. Like, that is the iconic Venom
storyline.
No, the iconic Venom
this
cover.
image right here.
This image right here. That is Venom. Image. Yeah. Like, that is
as a wallet. I have this as a t-shirt, and I actually have this comic book.
It's like, it was perfection. And for me as a kid, like, seeing him grapple with all of these new emotions. This alien is now having to deal with like human emotions and such. And like, yeah, it was just dope. It was dope. But
so Eugene has it too as a first print. See?
Nice.
Oh, and that's when he said Kane. That's who I was dressed up as. I was dressed up as Kane at Comic-Con. The year prior to that, I was symbiote Spider-Man, and I got that from Hentai. Sorry, whoop, wrong one. My bad. Zentai. Can you tell I've been drinking beer before this episode? Yeah,
I'm over here drinking that 151. So yeah,
I'm drinking El Chingon right now from Four Corners Brewery with a APA of 8.7. So
that's
not hentai, everybody, for you all listening. And if y'all want to get into that conversation, that's a totally different conversation.
Yeah, totally different conversation. But for
So Eugene's question about Arisha Hoshiki, which is the retiring Women of Stardom champion.
Yeah. Best striker in all of pro wrestling.
Same.
Not even, and it's not even close. She's just great. And the thing, so like, because she retired before, I think too.
Briefly, from what I remember.
So, I think it was longer than briefly. She was retired for a good little second, I think.
Well, she's now retiring again due to injury, and we talk about this with wrestling. Some people have a long career, and some people rather quick.
Yeah, so she was out. So she started 2011 to 2012, and then she was gone for 6 years. Came back 2018, and yeah, so she was retiring due to head and neck injuries. And if you watch Joshi wrestling, yeah.
Not surprised.
Not surprised by that at all. And the thing is, she's a very small woman.
Yes.
So she's 5'6", 115 pounds. She's probably realistically about 110.
Mm-hmm.
But like, her striking is amazing. Like, you can tell people that actually know how to strike, like in real life. And she's one of them.
I mean, not like The Undertaker.
Not like The Undertaker, the best pure striker in all of pro. Fuck out of here, man. He is not like when I see folks say that, I'm just like, where are y'all getting this from? Like, who told you that? Who told you that he was a striker? Because
Curtis Striker, that's what they meant. They meant Curtis
something. Because he's not a good striker. Like most. Oh, what was it? What was it that we watched the other day? And they were like, oh yeah, it's the best striker in. Oh yeah, it was the Dark Side of the Ring for the Road Warriors. And now they're like, oh yeah, he threw one of the best punches in pro wrestling. And then you see him punching and his wrist bent backwards this way when he would punch. And I'm like, that's not a good punch. That's not a good punch. Like when anything is limp like this, there's no power behind it, right? It's just not.
Remember, kids, anything that's limp like this has no power.
There's no power. Like if you slap somebody with something like a fish, no power. No power, right?
Have you ever slapped a person with a fish?
Yes, I have actually.
I need details.
Island kid shit.
Oh, okay. So that was like a game?
No, like we were on the boat and they said something stupid, so I grabbed a fish by the tail and I hit him. So
all right, well, for me, like that's new things. I've never, again, Damian doesn't know.
Oh, no, this is not a thing. This is a me thing. This is
it's a you thing.
That was a me being an asshole thing. But yeah, so Arisa Hoshiki, like I said, one of the best striker, hands down. Like Asuka's up there. Because it's tough when it comes to striking, right? Mm-hmm. Because you have some folks that can do. Aleister Black's another one. Aleister Black he's probably top 3 actually. He's definitely top 3.
You know, I actually subscribed to their YouTube channel and I saw one of his workouts and I'm like, wow.
Oh yeah, no, he is. So he legitimately trains Dutch kickboxing. Yes. And if you know anything about combat sports, the Dutch are like, so you have like Thailand, the Netherlands, Brazil, Japan, and strangely like Armenia. But those are like hotbeds for like kickboxing and stuff like that. And the Dutch style of kickboxing is like, it's insane. And you can tell like he absolutely, like he trains. Like it's not like him just kind of doing something that he saw in a video. Like he actively trains. And when you see him hitting a heavy bag, it's like, okay, he knows what he's doing.
Right. It's not recreational with him. He knows exactly what he's doing.
He knows exactly what he's doing. Like if there was a brawl for all, he's I'm putting my money on him probably to win the men's shit. Like it's brawl for all. If they did a brawl for all now, it would probably end up coming down to Alistair and Baron Corbin, actually. Because Baron Corbin he actively grapples, Golden Gloves champion boxing. So like he knows how to throw them things. So, but if you did like a straight up brawl for all, it would probably come down to those two, because I can't think of any other pro wrestlers
that can strike like that.
Because here's the thing: people are going to say Brock Lesnar does not like getting hit. That was the thing in pro wrestling. The moment he gets hit in the face, he shells up. And like, you remember playing Street Fighter back in the day when you punch Blanca and he would start to block and he would just shell up like this. That is exactly what Brock Lesnar did.
Huh.
Like, so Pat Barry was one of the guys. He was a heavyweight in the UFC, and he went to train with Brock Lesnar for a while, and they were sparring. And Pat Barry is a relatively high level kickboxer, or had a good amount of kickboxing experience at the time. And he tagged Brock in the face. They said Brock lost his fucking mind. Was like ready to like go get one of his guns and shoot Pat Barry, because like he does not like get hit in the face.
So how could you be a mixed martial artist and hate getting hit in the face to that degree where you want to like shoot somebody?
Because he like in mixed martial arts, wrestling is one of the best bases that you can have, because you can dictate where the fight happens if you are good enough to like time people's strikes and like grab them and stuff like that. And when you have like this gigantic albino gorilla like Brock Lesnar on you, it's not really much that you can do. Like it takes another high level wrestler like Cain Velasquez. And like in that fight when it happened, like a lot of us, I was like, oh yeah, nah, Cain's gonna wash him. People like, nah, Brock Lesnar is gonna win. I was like, Cain is going to wash him. And Brock got a takedown, and immediately Cain just it looked like when you try to pick up a cat and put it into its like travel case thing to take it to the vet. That's what it looked like, because Brock was having trouble. He's like, what the fuck? He won't stay down. And next thing you know, he was up, and it was just like, well, Brock's about to get fucked up. And sure enough, Brock got fucked up. So yeah, that was if there was a brawl for all, if it was on the women's side, Ronda Rousey wins. She just does. Maybe Oscar or one of the people that know how to strike would do something.
We've talked about the brawl for all before on talking about Dark Side of the Ring, but I'm not pining for another one. I'm not one of those fans that needs to see another one, and men or women.
Why would you want to give these people unnecessary brain damage? Because that's all that came from the first one.
Injuries and brain damage.
Like, and the difference here, because so like these folks think that, like, because I love some of my Twitter folks, right? But when they start talking about stuff, like people were like, oh yeah, Ronda would lose to Shayna Baszler. I was like, I don't think you guys understand their places in mixed martial arts. Like Shayna Baszler was a journeywoman. She lost a lot. And she lost to women that Ronda beat in seconds. Like handily beat.
Right.
It wouldn't be a competition. Also, Shayna Baszler's body is a fucking wreck at this point. She's got miles on her. And the time that she finally took off from mixed martial arts, a lot of that shit was just recover. Because the chaotic nature of mixed martial arts, or just a real fight, it does things to your body that you don't realize. Like that's why most fighters don't fight more than twice a year, if that, because the body has to repair itself. Right. And with the brawl for all, we've seen how long people are out when they get concussions. If you have the brawl for all, people are going to get knocked out. that's going to be at least a mandatory 2 to 3 months out, probably for most of these people, especially if they're using proper concussion protocols. And if they use the WWE's concussion protocol, yeah, it's definitely people are going to be out for months. So it would be no reason to do it. Like, and it's going to expose a lot of the top stars as not being the tough guys, that the image that they have portrayed, right? Like, I know folks love Dean Ambrose, but if he came back, if he was still in the WWE and they had a brawl for all, he would go out first round. And
Oh wow, okay.
First round. Like, we've seen.
I'm not saying it like surprise.
We've seen he can't punt. He can't throw a punch to save his life. So yeah, it would people that performers that people don't want to see win would end up winning. And that's one of the things that they didn't expect from the first one. So
the thoughts on Mike Tyson returning to the ring. And before that, just again, want to say a quick shout out to Anchor.fm for sponsoring the Damian G Show. You are listening to Damian and DEO on YouTube.com. Thoughts on Mike Tyson returning to the ring?
We talking the pro wrestling ring or we talking the boxing ring?
Because I don't want to see Tyson in the boxing ring.
Mm-mm.
I want to remember him as the baddest man on the planet. I like.
No, that's already ruined. That's been ruined for me. That was ruined.
But for me, I grew up on, and you grew up on 20-year-old Mike Tyson. So
yeah,
I choose to remember that version of Mike Tyson.
I can't. That's like, for me, it'd be like, oh yeah, I'm choosing to only remember Roy Jones Jr. in his prime. Nah.
Ooh, before he got sloppy at the end.
Oh, yeah. So, but here's the thing: he didn't get sloppy. So hubris is what happened to Roy Jones Jr. He decided that he wanted to go up in weight, win titles up there, and he went up and fought somebody that he shouldn't have fought, lost, and in order to go up in weight, he had to change his body.
Right.
And when you change your body, you can never go back to the way that it once was.
And you've told me that he just couldn't recover after that.
He couldn't. Yeah, you can't. Like, when you put on that amount of muscle, and then you want to lose, then you have to lose that muscle to go back down to your weight that you competed at all that time. That's bad for your body. And for him, that was one of the major reasons why he was never right again in the ring. And plus, mentally, like, when you are on top of the world and then you finally lose, that fucks with you. We see it time and time again in combat sports. But in the boxing ring, I don't want to see Mike Tyson fight again. Like, because the thing is, like,
charity.
No. I still don't want to see it. Like, because it's, even if it's like an exhibition match, like, muscle memory is a thing for some people where it's just like, yeah, nah, I can't do this shit. Like, what happens if he goes in and flashes back to old times, right? So say it's an exhibition match, because like Tyson Fury's dad challenged Mike Tyson to a match, which Tyson Fury's father was a boxer as well. But these two dudes are well past their primes. They've both taken way more punishment than they should. And the egos of these two men are not going to allow it to just be an exhibition. It's going to turn into an actual fight. And they're going to brawl eventually. And if that happens, I just don't want to see it. Like, it
won't be all fun and games like the rest of us thinking now. It'll be someone going to get hurt. Somebody's
absolutely going to get hurt. And I don't want to see that. Because they've been like shopping the whole thing of Evander Holyfield versus Tyson again. I don't want to see that again. Holyfield like handily beat Tyson back in the day. Headbutts aside, because he was headbutting the fuck. That's the thing that a lot of folks don't remember about that match or could not recognize. Holyfield was headbutting the fuck out of Mike. And honestly, I cannot blame him for biting Evander Holyfield, because like, you can go back and look, like, there's whole compilations of the amount of headbutts that he threw in that match. It's insane. And the ref was doing nothing. So at that point, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna bite somebody too. But like, if you see Evander Holyfield talk now,
Oh yeah, no, there's.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that because he slurs his speech, like he forgets things. Like with me, I tend to stop mid sentence because a new thought will come in and things like that, and like I'll get lost in thought and shit. But that's been me since I was a kid. Evander Holyfield used to be a well-spoken, fluidly talking person. Now you can see he's struggling to remember like words and stuff. So it's just like I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see them both fight. I don't want to see Tyson fight. I like seeing the training highlights. It reminds me of like there's just some, we talk about old man strength.
I would like to see Tyson just become a trainer. That's it. Because the thing about Mike Tyson is he's a combat sport and combat entertainment historian.
Mm-hmm.
He could talk boxing and professional wrestling and take you back to stuff in like the 1910s. And he can go through it in great detail as well. So I would much rather, I'd like to see him become someone's like head trainer.
Okay.
Because he understands combat sport in a way that others, like if you watch his podcast, Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson, I think it's called. Excellent listen. He understands boxing and he understands like human nature in a way that a lot of people don't. Like I enjoy the growth as a person that he's had over the years because, you know, if you only found out about Mike Tyson in the 2000s, he's a completely different person from what he was in the 90s.
Agreed.
Completely different person. So it's been great to see that happen. It's sad how he got to the point, losing one of his daughters, you know, losing and very important people to his life that made him turn around his life.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's good to see because he was a fucking train wreck back then.
Oh, and for Eugene, I've never played Knockout Kings. The only time I played a boxing game on the PlayStation was Fight Night. And
yeah, I've never really been like a boxing game fan. Honestly.
Evander Holyfield boxing was really good though for the Genesis.
Mike Tyson Punch Out. I used to love that.
I'm not a fan.
No, I loved it. I like anything with patterns. So
like you like rhythm games, don't you?
Yeah, I do actually. Patapon was like one of my favorite games.
Patapon?
Patapon was a game on the PSP where you essentially you have to hit the buttons. So you have like a tribe of these little creatures. They're like hunters or warriors,
okay.
Whatever you want to call them.
I'm looking at it. Okay.
And you have to hit the buttons in sequence. And they'll attack or they'll retreat or they'll recover or they'll, you know, amp themselves up just by, you know, there's certain songs that you play in order to get this stuff to work. So I love that like rhythm-based games like that where you actually have to do things. Fucking love that shit. Yeah, Ready to Rumble. I like Ready to Rumble.
Wasn't Michael Jackson Ready to Rumble for the Dreamcast?
I think it was like a Michael Jackson character. I don't know if they actually had Michael Jackson because Michael Jackson was very specific.
Well, him and Sega went back.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Sega go back a long time, even though he's uncredited for a lot of their music in their Sonic 3 games specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Sega and Michael Jackson go way back, especially with Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. And I know, folks, this isn't Monday, but this is just kind of the way the flow of the conversation went.
Yeah.
If you played Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, Smooth Criminal is his super move. That's all I'm going to say with that. And he turns into a robot that may or may not.
Yeah.
Thank you. That may or may not have metallic junk.
Oh, he's got it's a metal dick.
Yeah. Well,
it's a metal dick.
Well, hey.
We call it what it is. It's a metal dick.
Saving little kids from
yeah, with a metal dick. It's
oh no, exactly, Eugene. Oh no.
Yeah.
Eugene, go play Michael Jackson's Moonwalker on an emulator. Let me know how you think about it.
Yep.
So before we get out of here, The Batman can beat any one argument.
So there's this concept in comic book fandom of prep time when it comes to Batman. With enough prep time, Batman can beat everyone. Fuck out of here. No. Let me explain something to you. Prep time. He has had decades of prep time. It took him like 3 decades to finally be able to kill Deathstroke. Decades. Prep time didn't mean shit. If you need that much prep time to beat a man that is not a god, how the what? Like, I remember there's a panel, and I remember that shit where like Slade or Deathstroke, whatever you want to call him, put him in his place. He's like, and don't you forget, you are Batman because I allow you to be Batman.
Oh.
And Bruce was like, I know. It's like, yeah, you better fucking be quiet when adults are talking. This ain't it. Don't do this. And like this idea that like I don't understand it. Like it's I understand the mythos of Batman and people just because he is the only person that does not have like superpowers in the Justice League, but he's not unbeatable. Like he is actually beaten a lot. Yeah. First contact, like when he meets a new foe that he's never faced before, the moment he starts getting his ass whooped, time to go.
Right.
I need to regroup and I need to come back with a plan. That's how this goes. So this in particular was kid that I used to that he went to the school that I used to teach. I didn't teach. I was an after school like teacher person. And I was there for like the summer camp. And he posted on Facebook that Batman would beat Wolverine. No, he wouldn't.
No,
he would not beat Wolverine. Wolverine is so. Let's take away the indestructible skeleton. Let's take away the claws that can cut through damn near any substance in existence.
Yeah,
we'll take those 2 things away. He has a healing factor that negates poison, a healing factor that negates tranquilizers. He shrugs off like tasers, like it's nothing.
Okay.
Superhuman strength, superhuman speed, superhuman senses. He has been alive. When was Wolverine born?
Long before we were alive.
He was
what, 1800s?
Was it? Yeah, he was definitely in the 1800s. So he was born. Publication history, blah blah blah. All right, so he was born in the late 1880s. So at this point now, he would be 140 years old, right? So he has fought in basically every single war that we have had since then. He has fought against ninja clans. He has fought dinosaurs. He's fought the Hulk. He's fought Spider-Man. He's fought Venom. He's fought Sabretooth, which by itself, that's a feat. Because I don't think people understand just how dangerous Sabretooth is. Sabretooth is a fucking menace. Just a menace. Like, Sabretooth, this is how, if you took Sabretooth and you dropped him off in the Avengers Tower, he's killing most of the Avengers. No questions asked. And you can take away the adamantium claws that he had, and you can just let him, he would butcher a lot of the Avengers. And it's not even close. So the fact that Wolverine's been fighting these insanely powerful people for so long, right? What does Batman have that's going to do that? Most of his utility belt is going to be tranquilizers and poisons and things of that nature. Like, you take away Wolverine's sight, he's got enhanced smell and hearing, so he's still going to know where the fuck you are. He's the best tracker in Marvel Comics, so if he runs away, He's still gonna fucking track him down. Like, no, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
So
like,
where are people getting this from? Are they getting it strictly from the Nolan movies?
No, there's been this thing that people think that like Batman, I consider it superpower by association. Just because he's around Superman, he's around Wonder Woman, he's always around them. People think, oh yeah, he's this. No, he's like, I remember when people try to say that he would beat Black Panther. I was like, y'all out of your fucking skulls. Like, Black Panther is Batman, but every level is set from 11 to 111.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's richer than Batman. He's smarter than Batman. He's faster, stronger. Like, what? Get the fuck? Like, no. Yeah, it's insane. But like, there's this idea that like, just because he's around the Justice League all the time and he's got them, that he can beat all of them. No, he can't. He can't. Like, yes, some of the Justice League have their weaknesses. Superman's got kryptonite. But let me explain something to you. If Superman flies out into space, if he ever gets tired of Batman, it's like, you know what? I'm done with your shit. He's going to fly out of orbit and he is going to laser down and just kill Superman, or he'll kill Batman. Like, he can hit him with laser vision from Mars probably and could kill him. No questions asked. Like, yeah. So Martian Manhunter, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's allergic, or like he's afraid of fire, right? Yes. So yeah, he can use that against him. When it comes to certain people in the Justice League, like we're talking about the the Babylon
Tower of
Babylon. So he had a plan for everybody in case they ever went out of control, right? Wonder Woman. He doesn't really have a plan.
Yeah, his plan, you said earlier this week, we talked about it on Monday's show. His plan for Wonder Woman is getting Superman involved.
Like, that's like Wonder Woman, first off, best melee fighter in DC Comics. She will run train on Bruce. Like, bad.
In more ways than one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they've been fucking for a long time. So that's
Wait, that's canon?
That's canon. That's been canon for a while, yeah. But like,
wait, Diana and Bruce, that's a canon thing? I thought that was only for the Justice League cartoon.
Nah, it happened in the comic books too, I believe, if I remember correctly. But like, she will beat the dog shit out of Bruce, and it's not even close. Like, Bruce is not this almighty thing. Like, he's the best. No, he's not. Stop it. Lady Shiva is still better than him. You have a bunch of characters that are better than Batman. It just happens to be like, so Bruce Wayne does have a superpower. It's being a crazy white man. It's being a crazy rich white man. That is his superpower. Because like, you have to be insane in order to try to go toe-to-toe with essentially gods. And yes, Damian is better than him. There are so many other iterations of Batman or people in the Bat family that are better fighters, better acrobats, better tacticians, better a lot of things.
Well, we also talked about that. Canonically, we believe Bruce is about 45.
Yeah, so yeah, he'd be about 45-ish right now. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not
a spring chicken.
No, he's not a spring chicken anymore. And like, sure, got a ton of money, can afford to recover and have all these different things and such, but like, nah, he's gonna get washed up. Like, you are fighting a man who is likely, we'll say, it's probably around 30. Like, Wolverine's probably around 30 years as far as his timeline would go for life, maybe around 25, 30-ish. But even then, physically speaking, he's better in every single way than Bruce Wayne. And
what about Captain America?
Nah, Captain America versus Bruce Wayne. I'm gonna pick Captain America. Just off of physical ability alone, also being a tactician. I'm gonna take Captain, especially first contact. Right, first contact. I'm gonna give it to most people, most like superpowered heroes that have lots of experience. I'm going to give them the nod in first contact. Now, if Batman does have prep time, I'd give it to him because he is going to plant weaponry and booby traps and such in the area in order to make sure that he wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna. Captain America is I run up in there and I do what I do because I'm GI Joe. But first contact, I'm gonna take Captain America because he has lots of experience, is a very skilled hand-to-hand combatant. That shield is a motherfucker too. Like, I don't think Batman's faced anything really like that before. Like the ricocheting the shield off of things and such. So yeah.
So before we get out of here, you mentioned the reason I brought up Captain America is because you had said off air that you want to talk about Captain America real quick, about how people think that Cap can beat anybody too.
Yeah, no, he's not. Like, if the Hulk decided to, it's curtains for Captain America. If Wolverine gets the shield away from Captain America dies. Because he's faster, stronger, all of these things than Captain America. Yeah, there are a lot of people that like have been gassed up in the comic books, but when you actually look at their skill sets and their attributes and such, it just doesn't really, it doesn't add up, right? So, and that is when it comes to Captain America, that's one of them. Like I said, Sabretooth versus Captain America one-on-one, it's bad out here. Like Sabretooth used to, every year on Wolverine's birthday, he would show up on Wolverine's doorstep.
Don't they fight on his doorstep every single year?
The fuck out of Wolverine every year and leave. Just to remind him, I can fuck you up whenever I want to.
Especially on your birthday.
Especially on your birthday. This is a reminder. So you can live in fear for the rest of the year. I'm going to come back next year and I'm going to fuck you up again. Like, yeah. Like there are people. Iron Man is another person. Like you take him out of the tin can, he's got nothing. He's got nothing.
I love how the MCU made a C+, B- comic character.
Yeah.
And made him the A1.
Yeah. He's
in a lot
not
of people's
even
eyes.
Close to being the A1. Like, and when I see these debates about people saying, oh, that's, and I was like, no, if Doctor Strange wanted to, he could end most of the people. In like, if you take real Doctor Strange, it's gonna take very few people are going to be able to stop him. Like when you have access to that kind of mystical power, it would damn near be impossible. And like the Hulk, after World War Hulk, there aren't too many people that are going to be able to stop him. Was the heart of a monster, I think it is the other one or something like that. He is unstoppable. He is literally one of the strongest beings in all of the universes. The Hulk.
I remember, I think it was World War Hulk when he came back.
World War Hulk was
Ghost Rider literally tried,
gave him the
and
pen
then
and
said,
he's
I'm
like,
out.
Yeah, he's like, nah, cool. Nope. This is beyond what I can do. This is
because Ghost Rider even said, well, you're not evil. It's that these dudes kind of jerked you over, and this ain't my fight. As long as you're not trying to kill, innocent people, we good.
Like he gave Wolverine ran up, go away, gone. the Thing came,
The Thing always gets spotted.
Both sides of his head, and next thing you know, the Thing, who's made out of rocks, was bleeding out of his nose.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, it got very bad very quickly. Like everybody that was anybody, because I remember like when the whole thing, the beginning of this, when the Illuminati, which is like all of the big heads in Marvel Comics, like Black Panther was like, I want no part of this.
This is gonna bite us in the ass.
This is going to bite y'all in the ass. So I'm gonna let y'all, whenever this comes back to bite you.
Did he walk out the meeting?
Yeah, he walked out the meeting. He's like, nah, I don't want any part of this. Because Hulk came back and fucked everybody up. He fucked Iron Man in the improved Hulkbuster suits, fucked him up. When Black Bolt came down and was like, and telepathically was like, I don't want to do this. He was like, you don't want to do this? Now fuck that. I don't want to hear you whisper. I want to hear you scream. And Black Bolt gave him a full blast. And he was like, oh, that's cute. And pummeled him. Like it took the Sentry, who is one of the most powerful, but this wasn't full powered Sentry how he is now with the Void powers intact. Mm-hmm. But like they fought to a standstill, and then they had to hit him with a fucking basically the infinity blast from Iron Man's satellite in space. So like it took damn near every high-powered superhero on Earth fighting the Hulk to stop it. Yep. Like what? So like think about that. Cap can't win against that. Like if the Hulk really gets mad and he smashes, if Cap tries to block that, he gets turned into mush. Like even if he does it with the shield, he gets turned into like a Basquiat painting.
I know I know the reference, and it makes me happy to know.
It's like a lot of these, like when people are like, oh, I was like, what are we talking about here, people? Mm-hmm. There's levels to this.
Right.
This is like saying an ant can kill a truck. It doesn't work that way.
People are fantastic with their comic book lore and their predictions. And yes, Eugene, Spider-Man does hold back. Put a fist through Tony, like he could put a fist through a lot of heroes.
Oh yeah.
If Spider-Man wasn't holding back, because I remember in the Maximum Carnage storyline, he knocks out Shriek with a finger flick of doom, not even of a poke, of like a tap of her forehead.
Yeah.
He's goes out for like a week.
Yeah. So, and then like folks don't realize that stuff. It's like when you realize, so for instance, like when you go and look up the power levels, like strength levels of these people, Spider-Man can lift tons. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of weight, like a ton. So
like 10 tons supposedly.
Right. So like how much does a Brinks truck weigh? A Brinks truck weighs, all right, average finished route weighs about 1,200 pounds. Or no, 12,000 pounds. Mm-hmm. Right? A ton is 2,000 pounds, right?
Right.
So 2,000 pounds, like that's a regular size car is going to be like 2,000 pounds. Spider-Man can lift multiples of those easily. Easily. So yeah, like y'all gotta relax.
Y'all gotta hold off on it.
Y'all gotta, like, when y'all jump into these things with, and I don't like being gatekeepery about stuff, but like when you have these situations when there is source material, and we've seen the same movies and TV shows that you have, but we also know the source material too, mm-hmm. Don't argue with us. right? If you want to ask us, oh yeah, give me proof, and we give it to you, go back and read this stuff, because you'll actually find some really cool stories.
It's there for you to read.
It's there for you to read. But like, don't sit here and be like, oh well, I think what you think does not matter. What actually has happened, and we have quantifiable evidence for these things. Like that's when we can have a discussion about the stuff, but not on some of this like, oh yeah, we're just saying stuff just to say it. Nope. Like I remember when Thanos first came about, folks were like, oh yeah, Thanos can beat anybody. Like when they said Thanos could beat Darkseid, I said, you are out of your goddamn mind.
I've seen some comic YouTube people say that Thanos can beat Darkseid.
Not even no. So for those of you that don't know who Darkseid is, he's like the big bad in DC. Darkseid is so powerful that he physically cannot be in our universe without destroying it. Basically, he has to send a weakened like projection of himself,
astral projection
of himself, and even that Superman and company are struggling to beat him. Then like there's levels to this stuff. You had a dude that had to go scour time and space to find gems to become powerful to do one thing, and then you have a dude that is so powerful that he cannot exist in our existence without destroying us.
Right.
That's not even leveled, bro. It's literally different universes. So like, yeah, like when I see folks say this stuff and it's just like, okay, stop. Like,
I got you.
And it just stop. You're making yourself look bad and you're making us look like assholes when we have to fucking correct you.
We have to point you out, right?
When we have to be like, look, this ain't it. Don't do this. Like, just don't do it.
So if we're gonna stay on like the comic cartoon theme, before we go, I just want to say, whoever is complaining about the end of the She-Ra show on Netflix,
dude,
because of the storylines or because of her sexuality, y'all need to knock that shit off.
Right. Like, there is this thing with men, and we have to say men specifically because this is who's complaining. It's always men. Men are the ones complaining about this, mostly white men. Because you see this a lot when like characters, if you see it, they have less of an issue when characters. So if a character gets, turned into a female for a new comic book or whatever, they'll be upset. But when the character becomes a woman of color, oh my god, then the fucking this PC, fuck out of here, dude, fuck you. But like with She-Ra, this is a more realistic look at these things. It's a modern portrayal of She-Ra. If you know the history of She-Ra when she was created, then you'll know that they created her and they wanted her to essentially be like a Barbie doll for the He-Man universe, right? She wasn't meant to be. So that had to be changed. Just point blank period. Like you can't just have her essentially just be eye candy, because matter of fact, this is a very excellent documentary on He-Man on Netflix. And it is called Power of Grayskull. It's the definitive history of the Masters of the Universe. It is something that people need to watch, especially with this. Like, you need to watch this type of stuff because it's important to understand context to stuff. A lot of these things were not made for women in mind back in the day. But women latched onto it because she was a strong character. So when you go back and look at the history and you find out that it was purposely done that way, it's like, yeah, no, it had to be changed. It just had to be changed. A lot of these characters had to be changed. Like Wonder Woman over the years has morphed into the badass that she is. But if you know anything about the history of her character was based off of BDSM.
Yep.
And making, like, literally her weakness was to have her hands tied behind
hands tied together. Mm-hmm. Leave it at that. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, like it had, and it's directly connected to BDSM because the guy, the creator, was into the lifestyle. So issues, these things have to be corrected over time. You have to course correct.
Yes. And
like this wasn't for you. Like the She-Ra cartoon was never really for dudes any goddamn way. So I don't know why y'all are getting so upset.
Why y'all getting upset now?
It's for kids. This shit is for kids. Like when I see, so like when they bring some stuff back, each time they brought back like the Ninja Turtles or whatever, I'm like, okay, cool. It's not for me. And I keep it moving. Right. Keep it moving. That's it. Like even though I was a massive fan of the Ninja Turtles as a kid, that was for me when I was a kid. I can go back and watch that shit if I want. I can go back and watch, you know, the movies from when I was a kid. It doesn't. It's this whole thing of you're ruining my childhood. You can literally go back and
relive your childhood.
You can go watch this shit whenever the fuck you want. Like, let these kids have what they have. It's something new for them. Let them enjoy something new.
Right.
Like this dumb shit that y'all continuously do. You're ruining my childhood.
You aren't a child anymore.
Exactly. You are. Like there's a clip from dude's like, you're 36. It's like, yeah, bro, you are old. Stop it. Like, I still like anime and shit like that, but I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, you're ruining my childhood. Like some stuff, sure. If they fuck up Cowboy Bebop, I'm gonna be pissed.
The only time I've mentioned you're messing up my childhood has been Michael Bay in the Transformers movies and the Ninja Turtle movie.
Even then, for me, I don't even consider it that because this is not for me. This was meant for the modern day audience. So I was like,
and I've learned to say it's not meant for me.
It's not meant for me. Yeah.
Well, I don't watch it.
Yeah. So like, I remember I watched the Teenage Mutant, whatever the latest Turtles were. I didn't think it was as horrible as people said it was. It was all right. I actually kind of enjoyed it. But it wasn't for me. It wasn't meant for me. It's, you know, it just is what it is. But yeah, there's another one. There's a series called Toys That Made Us on Netflix. You find out a lot of stuff about these things. You learn a lot.
You learn
when you actually decide to go and look to see what the behind the scenes stories to a lot of this stuff was, because a lot of the thought processes that we have now are based off of decisions that people made at board meetings in like 1982 because they wanted to sell more toys or whatever. Right. So when you go into it, you can't go into it being like, oh, this was for my this wasn't your childhood though. This was these people's creations.
Yeah. You were just there to watch it.
You were just there to watch it. You don't own any of this. You're not entitled to any of this stuff. Like the Star Wars fandom, like how Star Wars fans like just it. Nerd and geek fandom has become incredibly toxic the past couple of years. And like, it's funny. Like they'll say all this stuff online, but they won't say it out in person. Right? Not. You go to Dragon Con, you go to Comic Con, you don't have these people that are loud mouths talking about, oh, this is that and the other. You won't say it to anybody's face. You won't. Like you might get one person in a panel that'll muster up enough courage to say something to the creator or to somebody on the panel, and then quickly get just lambasted by the people on the panel who were the ones that created or portrayed these characters, being like, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up.
I love it. We come back and you're saying, shut up. Like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
There you go.
And I think that's actually the best way for us to sign off here on Damian and DEO. random talk that decided to be. Salute to you, my friend. There you go.
Mhm.
We talked MMA, we talked comics, we talked boxing and fandom. So I think we've checked all the boxes here. We'll see you Monday. I'm going to actually watch X-Men Origins Wolverine because I said a couple weeks ago,
I'm not gonna watch
so
it.
we can talk about how bad it is. That's all.
I still remember how bad it was. I'm not gonna fucking watch this shit again.
I need to watch it again to remember how bad it was. But I think what I might do even worse for Monday's show is watch Fantastic Four.
Oh, you can have that one.
Because that's been a conversation that's had on social media with, Taskmaster, myself, and a few other people.
PU.
Yeah. And I'm talking about the Miles Teller FF4 with Michael B. Jordan. It's kind of funny how Michael B. Jordan and Chris Evans both played the Human Torch, and yet in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they have iconic roles.
Yeah.
Kind of funny, huh?
It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny how, like, Chris Evans has had fucking wild
roles. Yeah,
wild renaissance. Like, between, he went from Fantastic Four, which I actually liked him as Johnny Storm in the movie, to being in the what was that movie with fucking,
what was the one where he shook the dice or whatever with his like telekinesis?
Fuck, what was that shit with
because that was based on a comic also.
That's what I'm thinking of. Zach Pilgrim.
Oh, Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Today's
actually the anniversary of that movie. I think it's the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, so he was in that shit. And then he went from there to then becoming Captain America. Like, who hey, if you saw the movie, that was.
And as of today, apparently there's a cancel Chris Evans thing going on Twitter. Like, Chris Evans is canceled. I don't understand it. I don't know it. I didn't do any research.
I think he accidentally deleted like 51,000 emails or some shit like that.
That was Chris Pratt.
Was it Pratt?
It was Pratt.
Oh, well, fuck Pratt.
Well, you don't like Pratt anyway, but.
Oh yeah, no, he is a Bible thumping crazy person that supports Trump. So, but Pratt, why are they trying to? Let me check this real quick while they're trying to cancel Chris Pratt or Chris Evans.
I don't know, maybe because America's ass isn't. What, did he marry Peggy in real life? Like, why are people mad?
What did he do?
I don't think he did anything. I just think people are just bored out of their minds. Yeah, I'm not even going to give 2 seconds of it. So if you find out, you let me know off air. But
I don't think it's going to be anything worth anything. It doesn't seem to be an actual reason because they tried to do this. They actually tried to do this a couple months ago too.
I think that's where it started. Someone tried to rehash that.
Yeah, no, I hate folks when it's like, okay, it didn't take the first time. Stop
trying to get your clout, bro.
Just stop.
Just stop. But on behalf of DEO, I am Damian G. Find us at ImjustDEO, Damian G347, the Damian G Show on Anchor.fm, as well as on YouTube. And we will see you Monday. And also, as always, wipe your ass, wash your hands, don't be a dick.